Developmental trauma. A lot of children who are born develop a very special relationship with their families, with their parents, grandparents, and other people in the house. This is very important for their brain, and this gives them a sense of safety, a sense of belonging. What children need are two very important things. One is a sense of safety, and second is the special relationship that they have with close ones. This is the emotional wire that is really important for them. And based on this wire, they develop higher executive functioning. So it's important to understand that bonding and that connection is really important for the child. Some children who are unwell, they might have conditions for which they need to be in the hospital for a long time. They might be born premature and be in the hospital for many months. They do not get this environment early on. Or children who might have other health conditions such as cystic fibrosis, for which they need to be in the hospital for long, or they might have a cancer early on, for any medical condition which needs them to be outside their home for a long time, affects that bond. Or if children are physically chastised or abused, or children are neglected, or children are emotionally abused, that bond is broken. So, this is a very important bond and important to understand that in children who have safeguarding concerns, or in children who are looked after, or in children who are actually in the hospital for a long time, will show features of developmental trauma. Sometimes the developmental trauma is also seen in children with neurodiversity because those children are not understood by their family, and the family want them to behave in a certain way or do certain things, and because they have neurodiversity, they might not listen, they might not follow what is told, they might have attention difficulties, they might have instruction following difficulties, and that is all augmented over time. So what is developmental trauma? So if I face a situation, so suppose if I'm going on a road and a big, very big dog looks at me, and I feel that the dog is going to chase me, so I might get really scared, and I might want to run away. When I am running away, if somebody comes and start teaching me about a particular topic, that's not the right time for me to learn. I'm not in the right zone to learn, and I just want to really run away and survive. So usually for all children, the survival is the first thing. So matter of fact is that there's no dog, and I don't need to be worried, and I can still be in my normal zone, not in my survival zone. So when children are faced with developmental trauma, because their very bond of safety is broken and the very bond of special relationship is broken, they have experienced, if they're in the hospital, they've experienced needles, they've experienced blood being taken, injections being given, and days after days or months after months, they have not been in a family environment. So they experience a trauma. So, like the example I gave of a dog behind me, how do I feel? I feel like running away. So, they either have a flight response in which they want to run away from the place or want to be away from their place. Unfortunately, they can't because they're in a class and they have been told to be there. So, they can't run away, but they can dissociate. What it means is that they are there but not there. So, they are sitting there thinking something else. Their mind is distracted to something else, or they might be thinking of doing something naughty or funny to hide the fact that their mind is unable to be attentive in that situation. So usually a developmental trauma present by three ways. One is by running away, which is called the flight response. if they can, they don't want to go in, they don't want to come to school, they want to do things. The second is fight, is getting angry quickly, showing an aggressive response, having a real violent episode in the school. Or it can be number three, which is dissociative, poor attention span. A lot of children that you might be seeing, the behavior are really restricted to these three conditions. So we will talk about neurodiversity, we will talk about trauma, and we'll talk about neurodiversity and trauma together, because it can affect the child, especially in a school environment, and that's why the school and the family needs to work together. The good news is that developmental trauma can be really improved, we can have a really good outcome. Neurodiversity can be really improved, we can have a really good outcome. You will hear thousands of children, they will say, oh, school was so difficult, but as soon as I was out of school, I'm fine, I'm good. What is the mistake we are doing at school, and how we can improve and get children happiness back, these children who are approximately 15% of your population. Thank you.